Objection. Mr. Deutch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for holding this hearing. Discrimination based on sex and gender bias are huge and pervasive problems. As the father of 2 daughters, I want to work toward a world for them that treats them and their brother fairly on the merits of their arguments and their actions, rather than with prejudgments or bias. Our biases about the proper roles of women are so completely pervasive that it feels difficult to even know where to begin. And while we see examples of gender bias in real-life problems like pay inequality, glass ceilings, the actual problem is so much deeper. From the way we react to girls and boys differently, to the very language we use to describe similar behaviors, these biases are deeply ingrained in our culture. We even see evidence of this deep-seated bias in the type of futures we as parents imagine for our children. And women experience this bias every day. Will their appearance be valued more than their ideas? Will they be viewed as unprofessional for speaking up and for defending their ideas? Will they be targeted on social media with threats of violence? Will they be able to attend college without fear of sexual assault? And will they be heard when they say no? With a problem so pervasive, there is no easy fix. Bringing an end to sexism and gender bias requires us to address the root cause of inequality. This means investing in preventative health care programs, science-based sex education, economic empowerment efforts, and supporting fair housing and employment practices. The most obvious symptom of gender bias is the continuing pay disparity between men and women in the workplace. 2 days ago, we finally had Equal Pay Day, April 12th. April 12th represented how far into the year of 2016 women worked to earn as much pay as men. Women are paid 79 cents for every dollar a man is paid, and the gap is even worse for women of color. At that rate, we're currently moving toward closing the pay gap. Women will still be waiting for a dollar to mean a dollar 44 years from now. My college-age daughters will be approaching their retirement. This is the fundamental problem. The ripple effects hit working families whose wages have barely budged since the 90s. And while pay stays flat, costs soar for housing, for childcare, for education, just to name a few. Unequal pay contributes to broader issues of economic inequality and the disappearing middle class. So it is good. It really, really is good to see a bill start off with an affirmation of the basic truth that women are a vital part of American society and culture and possess the same fundamental human rights and civil rights as men. And I hope that we as a Congress can work to live up to the promises underlying that basic truth. The promise of education, the promise of access to health care, the promise of justice for victims of sexual assault, the promise of equal employment opportunities, and the promise of finally closing the inexcusable pay gap. It's a shame that this subcommittee's attempt to confront the serious issue of sex discrimination and gender bias is nothing more than this committee telling women that what they can and cannot do with their bodies again. The United States Constitution protects a woman's right to make the personal, private decision to have an abortion. And pretending that this bill is anything other than an attempt to undermine and weaken that constitutionally protected right is a farce. And for that reason, I have no questions, and I yield back.
I thank the